Another rebellion is brewing at Playcare's Home Sweet Home, led by none other than the Prototype. You may know him as Experiment 1006. Hello all, and welcome back to another video that will change how you look at toys. You guessed it, we are once again diving really deep into Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, Deep Sleep. Mob has released some new info about Catnap, Playcare, and the Prototype. Info that makes you think, why are we killing the toys? As Chapter 3 release date draws closer, Mob has completely shifted the narrative. Toys were initially considered evil, but now the entire Poppy Playtime community, including us, is sympathizing with the ugly, creepy creatures. Honestly, they're not as ugly once you separate them from the lies Playtime Co. fed you. Poppy Playtime's ARG and the game's Twitter page are flush with teasers. Nothing has been the same since Catnap's announcement. The ARG has flat out confirmed that Playtime Co. was holding children captive against their will, putting them to sleep, gauging them from experiments, and then turning them into toys. Amid all this, the Prototype keeps emerging as the good guy. No need to lose your mind, we will explain why, but before we do that, make sure you have watched the intros of the 8 smiling critters to understand this video better. Also, leave a quick like on the video and make sure you share it with a friend if we manage to update you on everything that happened since Chapter 2 of Poppy Playtime. Now, let's get into it. Exploring the dark ARG clips. The first clip appears to be from the facility where Playtime manufactured the scents. We see 2 giant machines still operating, likely producing poppy gas to put children to sleep. The second VHS clip provides a good look into what seems like a jail with claw markings all over the floor. Safe to say the Prototype is a frequent visitor here, but that's not the only interesting thing about this ruined prison. If you look closely, you'll see a tiny critter in the video disappear into the door toward the left side of the hallway. Since the video is too dark, it was pretty tricky to make out the critter, but we are positive that it's Bobby Bearhug. We also now know that critters might walk on 4s. Finally, the third and creepiest of all is a video with Catnap hiding in plain sight. This seemingly innocent room with beds is well decorated, but there's a unique wall hanging that most players would miss. On the far left side of the room, you'd see a pair of eyes. Looking closely, you'd see Catnap hanging upside down by the ceiling, his crescent necklace dangling from his neck. These 3 clips are certainly educational, albeit a bit too creepy for our taste, but that's not all. Things get worse when you dig deeper into the ARG. There are letters, documents, and emails that provide an insight into Catnap's life before his transformation and an unexpected ally. Another hour of joy in the making. From what we have seen in the teaser so far, we believe another hour of joy is brewing. Mob earlier introduced the 8 smiling critters to us, and while all 7 of them looked like your regular toy with a unique scent, something was off about Catnap. Catnap, who's marketed as a plushie with a lavender scent, is actually our rumored antagonist. Remember the very first poster for Smiling Critters? It had a total of 8 critters, and then Mob went ahead and published the same poster again without Catnap. We finally have a theory for it. The latest Poppy Playtime ARG reveals that Catnap was supposed to have a lavender scent in his pulmonary, but something went wrong. His scent doesn't smell like lavender. Instead, it's so bad that Mommy Longlegs yelled and screamed when she first went near Catnap. We don't even want to imagine the smell. The employee further states that they had to tackle parental complaints due to the scent malfunction. Eventually, Playtime had to halt Catnap's production and reintroduce the critters as a group of 7. This is the most reasonable explanation for Mob posting duplicate posters of the smiling critters. But if Catnap was pulled out of production, then where did he go? Deep underground in Playcare with Brawn. What happened to Catnap? We saw the creepy ARG footage, so you don't have to. The ARG says Catnap was locked in the basement. For context, you need a full rundown of Catnap's backstory. Our purple feline wasn't always a feline. Like other poor toys at Playtime Co., Catnap was once an orphan. At least that's where the clues point. Remember the purple kid sitting on a bed with the claw under his bed? The creepy drawing makes a lot of sense now that we have met Theodore Grambel. The recent Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 ARG clues include multiple letters written by Playtime Co. employees discussing a problem child at Playcare, Theodore Grambel. The employees are worried that Theodore is too antisocial and talks to an imaginary friend. Sound familiar? We think Catnap was Theodore Grambel, a 7-year-old orphan who became friends with the Prototype. But they weren't just 2 friends chatting about their day. The duo was strategizing. With the prototype's instructions, Theodore tried breaking the kids out of Playcare, where they were being held captive for experiments. He had the prototype's help, but he failed to escape. While trying to break out of the facility, Theodore experienced an accident and was heavily injured. Theodore was returning to the Playtime Co. staff for medical treatment. However, instead of healing his back to life, the company decided to make him the host for their ongoing toy project, Catnap. This is how our purple villain was created, but there's more to him. What does Catnap want? According to information provided by Mob on the official Twitter page and ARG, Catnap is employed to keep an eye on sleeping children. He did have difficulty adjusting to Playcare due to kids being scared of his massive size, but Catnap is a softie at heart, and kids saw that. When the children first saw the bigger body's Catnap, half of them were terrified. More than one burst into tears. I can't say I didn't expect this. The other department heads will note I was never a fan of using 1188 in Playcare for exactly this reason. The good news is that in the time since many of the children have warmed to him, some of them even consider him a friend now. Playtime Co. employees explained that Catnap's shy nature grew on the children, who became friends with him, but it only allowed him to do his creepy job better. According to the employees, Catnap is a perfect sleep watcher, but there's a small issue. He's a prototype fanboy. Let's paddle back a little. Remember we told you how Catnap was friends with the prototype before Playtime turned him into a toy? Well, it seems his scent isn't the only thing that went wrong with his production. Unlike other toys, Catnap seems to have some memory from his previous life and recognizes the prototype as a familiar face, or a hand in this case. And it honestly makes all the sense in the world. There's a critical detail we missed while narrating Catnap's sad story. When Theodore was injured, he was taken back to the factory. Now, guess who missed out on their only chance to escape in order to save Theodore? The prototype. Yes, the same Claw who's been misunderstood as the villain this whole time. Documents obtained from ARG confirm that whoever helped Theodore with the breach had the chance to escape but chose not to. Here's what the investigator discovered. Whatever your influencer is, it wanted a way out. What's strange, it got just that but didn't take it. Instead, it chooses to carry the boy to the staff to save him, to blow its cover. Now, we all know who Theodore's partner in crime was. It turns out the prototype always had a soft spot for Catnap, and this memory stays in our purple feline's head. The employees complain that while Catnap is the perfect villain, he acts differently around the prototype, like a lost puppy in their words. The ARG explains that Catnap is powerful, but he's easily impressionable where Experiment 1006 is concerned. Now let's tie this information back to the Chapter 3 trailer. Remember the writings on the wall and our theory that deep sleep has cultic themes? We think that Catnap goes so far in his love and devotion for the prototype that he ends up creating a cult of a somniferous flock to carry out the second hour of the joy. This would be the final attempt by the prototype to make sure every toy escapes with the help of Catnap. Our guests in Chapter 3 would revolve around the Second Revolution, and the player has returned to their facility to prevent it from happening. But are you sure you could fight these toys after knowing their gut-wrenching backstory? We have our doubts. Could Brawn return? When we talk about every toy, we can't help but think about poor Brawn. If you remember Brawn's VHS tape, you'd know that Brawn was brutally bullied, attacked, and then locked away in a separate facility. To add to your info, Brawn was morally gray, but not entirely evil. He was a Playtime employee who was suffering from a terminal illness and wanted a peaceful end to his life. However, he got played in his own game, ending up alone and miserable in a prison. But the new ARG has dropped brand new info that Brawn also had a soft spot for kids. If you look at this document closely, you'll see a scratched out part. Here's what we discovered after focusing on the next a bit more. Thomas did CPR on the kids until paramedics arrived. This writing was scratched out with irrelevant written on the side of the paper. Thomas was Brawn's first name. So could he be the guy who tried performing CPR on Theodore until paramedics arrived? If so, then this bit could be related to this ARG image. Is it possible that Theodore also helped Brawn escape? We think it's highly likely. This means that Chapter 3 might have lots of familiar faces. So folks, this is all you need to know about Poppy Playtime's recent ARG to understand the lore. If you liked our rundown, do leave a like under this video and share your theories. Let us know if we missed any details in the comments section below, and until next time.